Hey everyone, it's Brett from the Mr. Top Step Trading Team. Um, Saturday, March 18th is about 3:30, day after St. Patty's Day. Hope everyone had a safe and happy St. Patty's Day. Um, I want to talk a little bit about Nvidia. It's been an absolute monster these past, really the past few months, but specifically the last couple days. It's up, it was up every day last week, and in the market with where volatility is right now and the swoons we're seeing, honestly, it's really impressive stuff. I think, it was up double digits last week, about 12%. It's up like 75, 80% on the year, 75.5. It's up 138% from the lows. So this thing's been a beast. Um, but that's actually not why I'm doing this video. Danny wanted me to take a look at Nvidia here from a trade a couple weeks ago on March 2nd. We I'll get to it in a minute, but we sent this trade in the opening print newsletter. It's our newsletter we send 5 days a week each morning before the open. And it was a red to green. It was a reversal candidate we had flagged in the morning. And we actually had one member reach out about the entry and the stop loss situation on it. And so I figured if one person has a question on it, multiple people must have a question on it. And if it's not a strategy you're familiar with, then maybe it'll help you too, and you can add that to your arsenal. So let's just go over it really quick, and I'll try to keep the video fairly short. So here's the opening print newsletter. Starts off with a market view from Danny, and then his personal trading plan for the session that's coming up. A couple market stats, bonds, S&Ps, and we get down to Nvidia here, and just zoom in on the setup because this was the trading action daily chart trading action through March 1st. So we obviously didn't know this was going to go on up through the 250s and just be a monster. But here's what we're looking at. Stock was bumping into 230 resistance, pulled back nicely ahead of earnings, and then gapped over this resistance level, held it, and then after a couple days ended up trading back below it, finding its footing on the 10-day, and where it bounced slightly and then closed above it. But this 10-day tends to be nice support on strong trending stocks. It's my key moving average I follow. And coming into the session on March 2nd, Nvidia was under a little bit of pressure. We'll get into the setup right here. And the low was 225.09. We'll get into the specific chart levels in 1 second, but I just want to walk you through the setup real quick. I was trading about 224 in the pre-market. So we're looking for an open below the prior day's low and then a regain of that low. And this is a cash flow trade setup. It's exactly what it sounds like. We're looking for high probability setups with defined levels, defined entries, and we're looking for a quick move in our direction to put some money in our pocket. Now, occasionally, the trade's a little bit different. In the case of Nvidia, the setup has been so strong lately that we were actually looking to take some profit and look to swing the rest if we got the opportunity to do so. So we'll walk through that real quick here. And again, back to the daily chart, you can see, resistance here at 230, regained it on earnings and held it. You can see right here, this was the action on the first. We opened just below that level, about a buck below it. We'll switch over to the 5-minute chart. We'll kind of walk through this a little more closely. Okay, we're back on the 13th, so we'll get in right here on the second. So you can see we opened right here, 224.80-ish, kind of gyrated around this 215 level for the first 15, or 225 level for the first 15 minutes before we got that nice push higher. So the entry, just to answer some of the questions from earlier, as it related to one of our members, the entry is right here, 225.10. We regain that level, that's our long. Our low, our stop goes just below, somewhere down just below the low of the day. If we're wrong, and that's fine. We get punched out. I tend not to put the low at this point through the first 15 minutes, but specifically off the opening bar was 224.32. Now, I tend not to put a stop right at the low or within a penny or two of the low because it just, to me, I've been knocked out of a good trade too many times by having too tight of a stop. I would probably be somewhere down here, 224. I don't even really like to use round numbers like that, so I'd probably be like maybe 223.80 or 90. And the other thing I'll say is sometimes this takes a little bit of action. You have to maybe take this attempt a couple times. So you want to keep your position size small. This isn't a big, swing trade. We weren't looking to swing this thing for 5, 6 days, a week, a month, whatever. We were looking for a quick move in our direction, cash flow. We were looking for a quick move in our direction to put money in our pocket and get paid on the risk that we took. So you're risking about $1 here on this entry. Again, you want to keep your size small because this might take 1 or 2 times to get through it properly, but you can see how it resolves really nicely afterwards. Um, I don't have we actually traded this one live in the Mr. Top Step trading room, but I don't have the screenshots for that. It's about 2 weeks ago, so I can't really even go back through the archives, but just to kind of walk through it, we risked about $1. So I like to take you know, fourth, a fifth, some chunk of the trade off at the same risk level, which in this case was about 226. So we're at about 20% here, 20% 227, and 20% at 228-ish. And the reason for the 228 area was this had been intraday resistance for most of the prior day, and at this point, all through the current session. And you can see how that level kept this in check until a breakout way, about 2 o'clock and a little bit before 2. Um, and that ended up carrying us up through that 230 mark, which, if you remember, let's go back to the daily chart. Remember how key that 230 mark was. So you have to kind of keep some multiple time frames in your head. It works a lot easier for me if I have them mapped out ahead of time. So I took off another 20% at 230, about 80% of the trade at this point. Um, we had $5 in profit on this last tranche versus just, again, that dollar in risk. And for what it's worth, after we did get off the third piece of it, I did go to a break-even stop. I don't like to risk anything after that point. There's no reason for me to risk it. And at this point in the day, we sent an update, just an update on Nvidia. This came in the afternoon. Looks like shortly before 3 o'clock, just based on this intraday chart. The plan was I was out of 80% of the trade at this point. Gave great cash flow, which it did. And so the plan going forward was if you want to exit the trade, go for it, exit it into the close. At this point, it was trading 233, and it's about where it closed. So $8 in your pocket per share. That's pretty darn good considering we only risked $1. And then for those that wanted to see if this one could continue, we were looking at 235 to 236 and then 238 plus. So we'll hop back to this one. Back on the 5-minute chart real quick. Did close 233.15, so not a bad exit at all if that was the way you played it. We swung it in the next day because Nvidia it's just been such a strong stock, and it had been such a strong stock at that point. It's only gotten stronger. Off the opening push, we missed it. Our exit just slightly. It looks like the high was 234.93. We missed it by 7 cents, but anyone who stuck around got off an exit here, and then again in the 238 plus zone, and then it continued on. But the point of the trade here was to kind of catch this nice spike higher off the open, take profit into the I don't want to say the common sense resistance zones, but where there was clear resistance. And at this point, that was a 228-ish zone, 230, and then 238, I believe, was kind of the high. This was 238 on the daily, so it kind of made sense to be a seller into this region, even though, there was opportunities to get it off a little higher if you held it for the ensuing days. So this is not necessarily a typical trade of ours. We're more daily swing traders if that presents itself. If you'd like to follow along with some of those, feel free to sign up for our newsletter. We have a free and a premium version. Again, that's the opening print. And if not, I hope that this strategy is something that you can either fine tune and use on your own or incorporate into your own, trading style, your own systems. And, hopefully that it's something that you can take even a little piece of it and borrow it and stick it into your strategy to make it something that works for you. So thanks for listening, and good luck.